Here we go. The world is spinning. When it stops, it's just beginning. Sun comes up, we all laugh. Sun goes down, we. Hello, dear listeners. I not sure what that was. Regardless, welcome back once again to our weekly meeting here in my domain. It is, as you may know, October 11th, and admittedly, listeners, if I am to be completely honest with you, as I always am, I almost did not make it here today. Of course, that would have been completely unintentional, and had I any say in the matter, I would not miss a minute of the precious time we have together. But it appears that some things are outside of the scope of my abilities. Listeners, as you may have very well seen outside, the weather has changed. Finally, we are out of the heat. It is a pleasant 71 degrees Fahrenheit. But last night, listeners, well, Noah and his ark would have been so lucky. There are, surprisingly, puddles in the studio today. I am splashing as I walk. I am still not sure how that is even possible. Whatever manner you use to get into this space, I guess water can do it too? Well, if you weren't aware, listeners, rain, storms, and weather in general can have adverse effects on radio and their transmissions, causing interference. Now, reasonably, as someone who resides within radio interference, this would seem like a good thing. But I assure you, listeners, it is complete chaos in here. I only just regained consciousness a mere minutes before our meeting. I kept coming in and out of the frequency I'm supposed to be at. And there are plenty of things that must be put in order. So, while I do that, let's take a short listening break. Let me try to piece Humpty Dumpty back together again. We'll be back. For now, here's Wake Me Up by Avicii. Well, listeners, it is nice and comforting to know that at the very least the music can still be heard, despite the mess that we have here, for which again I do profusely apologize. I have at the very least cleaned up most of the issues here in the studio. You know, it really is a pain to not have studio executives prepared for situations like this one. Now, we of course here in the Void don't have any studio executives, it is just me. I am the only person here within at least the next 10 miles. But if we did have studio executives, I doubt they would be any better prepared than this. Do better, people. Now, the weather is at least clearing up. Hopefully, we will avoid running into any further predicaments beyond the intense headache that I am currently suffering from. My mind feels fuzzy, almost like static, which is weird, at least for me. I guess my mind is always kind of static, but the frequency is different. And let me tell you, listeners, it is extremely off putting. But we will power through today, as I know most of you do around this time in the semester. I believe in you, listeners, and I can only hope that the feeling is mutual. Listeners, I want to be able to grow as a radio host. I mean, I hope that until now there has been no issues with my methods or style, but I always wonder what more I could do. So, in the spirit of that, I must let you know that I am currently working on getting a guest on the show. Now, the details of that I'll keep hidden for now, but do look forward to hearing another disembodied voice of the void transmitting to you. For now, though, let's get back to listening. Here's The Revolution Will Not Be Televised by Gil Scott Heron. Listeners, I am sorry to say that we are once again getting close to the end, and I can see the exit just ahead. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. I appreciate the support, especially that without an audience, I would only be talking to myself. And, well, let's be honest, after the first 100 years, even the most interesting entity can become a drag to listen to. Despite my unlimited access to data, I still only have a limited supply of entertainment to provide. But that is not something to worry about, at least not for the next few decades. Let's start closing it out. Let's hop into another song before we end. Here's a song you know all too well.